This is the first fight on the televised card for the Lamont Peterson-Errol Spence bout. This is Javier Fortuna and Robert Easter, a.k.a. E-Bunny. Now, this was a real tough, rough tumble fight. It was a hard-fought fight. I think both of these guys get props, two 135-pound fighters going out there doing their thing. I don't think anybody lost any credibility in this fight at all. These two dudes went out there and did their thing. Not for hitting behind the head, though. He had received 2 warnings. And I guess, I don't know. I'm not thinking for the ref, but maybe the ref thought that Fortuna was going to be, somebody who would be harder to control later on down the line in the fight as the fight progressed. So maybe he figured he had to, let this kid know who's the boss and intervene and take that point for hitting behind the head. Now, you guys be the judge. Is this blatant hitting behind the head, or is he just caught up in the moment? Is E-Bunny ducking his head down, or is he being pulled? Because he was kind of holding Fortuna's right arm, who's a southpaw, and maybe Fortuna was going back and pulling. I don't know. You guys be the judge of that one.
This is Stone City.
Fortuna is a southpaw, and Robert Easter Jr. is an orthodox right-handed fighter, which means his left is his front foot, his front fist. Now, in the case with most southpaw versus orthodox fighters, the power hand is usually the hand that they don't see. And Robert Easter Jr. did not see the left hand that Fortuna socked his ass with, which was, I think, the best punch of the fight, in my opinion. See, I like fights like this. I like highly skilled fighters showing everything that they have and putting it all on the line. I like tough fought fights like this. I like when fighters are able to showcase their talents, because it does both of them a justice. It does both of them a service. When you can go in there against a good competition and still stand your ground, not get knocked out, not get dropped. Because nobody got dropped in this fight, even though we saw in the 6th round, Robert Easter Jr. getting caught with a left hand that he didn't see. This is the 8th round now, and, fights like this, I tend to not even score them when I watch them initially. Robert Easter Jr. stayed in the pocket a lot in this fight, giving Fortuna the opportunity, to actually land punch.
Let's work on the body. You gotta let him go. Don't give him a chance to touch you. Just start ripping him. As soon as he gets close to you, rip him. But keep him. We need these rounds. We need these rounds big.
I think Robert Easter Jr. really, really could have benefited more in this fight had he actually fought like the tall fighter that he is.
This is championship round. I don't need you. Don't get careless. I need you to stay sharp. Keep your hands up. Una revancha para la próxima en 35.
The man that's in at 135.
Allá mismo en Ohio.
You make the weight. Va a ser el peso tuyo.
El peso lo hablo. Recientemente mi equipo y todo el mundo sabe el tiempo que me dieron para entrenarme, para llegar aquí a los Estados Unidos para entrenar.
Yeah, he will definitely make the weight, Jim. He just knows that the top, that's not enough.
You knew we was fighting before I even knew we was fighting. So how was that an excuse, man? Come on, man. You gotta be professional. You over 2 times for the world champion. Make the weight next time, man. Shout out to you.
No,
not true.
All right.
Perhaps we'll see it again.
So now here we are at the final bout on this card, Errol Spence versus Lamar Peterson. This was a great fight. When I first heard about this fight, I heard about this fight on 7-8 Sports TV channel. This is a highly anticipated fight for me because I like both these guys. Both of these guys are highly skilled. Lamar Peterson, if you've watched any of my previous boxing videos, I feel as though Lamar Peterson actually beat Danny Garcia. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He beat Danny Garcia in my opinion. I think this is a really good fight. Like I said, Errol Spence Jr. is one of the rising stars in boxing. Lamar Peterson is a crafty veteran who is not easy to beat. He is not an easy guy to get in the ring with. He's very crafty, very, very skilled, highly skilled boxer with a very high ring IQ. This fight right here is a fight that will solidify Errol Spence's legacy. It will cement his legitimacy as a bona fide threat at 147, and it will cement his reputation as being a heavy-hitter power puncher. Now, Lamar Peterson went into this fight. Now, I'm not sure if he was trying to discourage Errol Spence by standing in front of him. I don't know if that's what his game plan was, or to show Errol Spence that he could take his power and try to walk through it so he could land a big shot. But Errol Spence showed that he is very adept at keeping people at distance. He's very good at keeping a certain range so that he can get leverage on his punches. A lot of people have criticized Errol Spence in the past for not being very defensively sound. He completely dominated every round. I don't think there's a round where he didn't look good in this fight. He showed that he can box on the outside. He doesn't necessarily have to be a come-forward brawler, trying to maul you to death and get you out of there with an accumulation of punches. Errol Spence Jr. He's one of the best fighters right now in the welterweight division. I would even say in the world, because his ring IQ, he has a very high ring IQ. People have criticized Errol Spence in the past for not being very defensively sound or defensively minded. Now, watch my other videos with me talking about Errol Spence and his skills. Errol Spence is a very, very skilled fighter. He's a very skilled fighter. I've watched his fight, and I've seen him do a lot of really subtle things that people don't notice, like using his arms to catch punches, doing the catching and shoot. Sometimes he doesn't shoot right after he catches a punch, but he will catch a punch. The kid has really good reflexes, as you've seen in this particular IQ. And I believe that his high ring IQ is going to take him very far in the world of boxing. Lamar Peterson, as I said before, is a very good fighter, but he was outmatched today. He was outmatched during this fight. And Errol Spence just continues to get better and better. Every positive thing that I've said about Errol Spence, you guys are starting to see those things now. Because like I've said before, Errol Spence Jr. gets very little credit for the very good things that he does in the ring. He gets little credit for his defensive prowess. He gets very little credit for his ring IQ. I've told you guys before that Errol Spence Jr. is a very good boxer. I've seen him in different fights do different things. He fights in an aggressive fashion because he can. Because the people who he's fighting against have not done anything to stop him from being able to get at them. When you make the proper adjustments, or if you have a style that is difficult for Errol Spence, he will make these proper adjustments. They seem to get tunnel vision when they fight, and they forget to actually switch up their actual offense, and it's like they forget to utilize the full potential of their skill set. Lamar Peterson is a brilliant fighter. He's a brilliant fighter, and I think if he had, if he didn't get caught up with the tunnel vision, he could have done much better in this fight. He could have made it more of a competition for Errol Spence than it was. I believe that Lamar Peterson has the skill set to actually to have actually done better in this fight than he actually did. I just think he just got that tunnel vision, man. He got caught in the moment. He got caught up fighting one way, and he didn't know what to do. He got caught in that quicksand, and he got stuck. Errol Spence came out victorious in this fight. This is his 10th consecutive stoppage, I believe. Lamar Peterson put up a great effort against Errol Spence. What more can you say? Errol Spence is on his way, man. He's at the top of the heap now. You know, who's gonna step up and fight this kid? I like Danny Garcia, but Danny Garcia been doing some real suspect shit to me lately. You know, he actually had the nerve to come out of his mouth after the fight and say Errol Spence should fight Terrence Crawford. And now you can check this out on DBN or Dante's Boxing Nation as well. Why is he telling other fighters who they should fight when you guys are in the same weight class? Why aren't you trying to fight Terrence Crawford instead of telling Errol Spence who he should fight? Could it be that Danny Garcia just wants the best fighters to knock each other off and he comes around like a buzzard and pick up what's left over? I mean, that's what it sounds like. He's not chomping at the bit to fight any of these guys, but he was all up in Adams when Manny Pacquiao lost his title to Jeff Horn. Danny Garcia was all over that shit, wasn't that Jeff Horn fight. But he quiet as kept when it comes to Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. In fact, he wants them to fight each other. I'm just saying, I like Danny Garcia. I like things he does in the ring, but that was some suspect shit to me. But Errol Spence picked up this victory. He has now successfully defended his IBF title against a former two-weight class weight division champion in Lamar Peterson, who went up to 147 to try and possibly pick up a title at 147. I personally don't think Lamar Peterson's career is done. I don't think he's done. He is a challenge to anybody who steps in the ring with him. I think he beat Danny Garcia the first time. I think he'll beat Danny Garcia again. I think he can beat Keith Thurman. I think Lamar Peterson is skilled enough to reign at the top of the welterweight division. But that's just my personal opinion.